I think that will do more damage than it would be if they just killed everything. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of, they got to find that balance. Now I'm just kind of going in and putting things about where I think they are supposed to be. It's not going to be exact because, you know, people will come in and maybe they move it a little bit. And of course I want to, you know, leave plenty of room for whatever size player might come in. I feel like they're like scrunched up right to the front. I don't know if there's specifically a backwards or a frontwards way of these seats. Sometimes I'll put them in the way that the character sits on them, and then they'll come back and the character sits on them the other way. But I'm not sure how that works. If I've got them backwards, I guess I'll have to see. Now, what I'll do is turn that. And now we'll see if she's on it the right way. So yeah, maybe I have to go around and check all of them. Because it's not like it's marked, you know, forward and backward, you know. So you're watching me, I'm setting these up so that supposedly every time someone sits on it, they'll be facing the table. But we shall see if that remains true. Oh, where are you going? Okay, so see, that one's already in place. Get off of there. I see she went backwards that time. Yeah, I don't know what determines which direction it goes. Weird. Another little weird thing. I think my Oren's getting lazy. She just wants to sit all the time. So something like that, not really exact, is it? Kinda close. Like the angles aren't right. Fancy, fancy. Okay, so, well, now that one doesn't look. Constant tweaking. Say, no, it doesn't have to be exact. Then I fiddle with it till it kind of is, don't I? I don't know, it's just, sometimes I'm obsessive about that stuff, and other times I just like for some that would bug that that's showing, but I'm okay with it. Just a rock. Gap too big, maybe a little bit. And I certainly want to try and avoid having the feet go off into the ditch like this. So I may end up moving this entire little grouping just to get that off of there. What happens is that ends up looking like it's floating over the gap, and that would bug me, like that particular kind of thing. And this one, the angle is off for me. Something like that. So as soon as I get the seats like I want, then I'll check out positions as far as the whole little groupings. Okay, I think that's alright. So now I need to see how I want these done. Maybe I'll move this one further to the end here, center this one a bit here, and then I don't know, maybe leave that one there and move this one more so that the gap where the stools aren't at, they land over the divide here. But that's going to require me to link all of this. Let's see if that works. Link it to the table here. Oh, you don't. No, don't fit. Then we gotta do all of the plates. Okay, everything grouped. Hopefully, we'll see when we go to move it, I guess. Did you see the one bench? It stopped moving. And the plate, look, you can see it pop into the back there. Like possessed furniture or something. Ooh, it's like disappear, reappear, disappear, reappear. So I'm trying to catch it when it's here, and then I'll let go. And hopefully it doesn't like... it's so scary. Oh, it was there. Now I'll have to... this doesn't want to place any of it. I just messed up the whole thing. Okay, so now I'm missing the bench and the plate. So we see the plate out here. So I can't select it through the glass, so I'll have to come out here and get it. And then we'll have to go hunt the bench up. Not sure where it went off to. But you know, that's the risks that you take with playing around with some of this stuff, because it really acts strangely. Now I have to figure out where this... Now, can I get away with copying this one? And no, I don't know where that went. Whoa, over there. Yeah, it's just gonna be me carefully putting it back. I think it's even bigger than it was. Oh. 8. No, it's just, I guess it looks that way because it's higher. Wrong way. Okay, so let's check position. 1394. Then kind of eyeball it in here. And let's see the height. Height is set at 855. Okay, so we've got that fixed. Now I gotta figure out where the other bench went. And the only way I know how to do that is go to the listing, which is very annoying because then you have to find all of them and maybe it's not the right one. Oh, I think I got the right one right off the bat. See, there he is. Just kind of floating in space right there. The strangest thing ever. And it used to not do it like this, especially not this often. It just seems to get worse as time goes on. I don't know exactly why or what triggers it. You know, if it's something I'm doing, I would sure love to know, because then I would quit doing it, but I don't know what it is. But it sure does act funny. Okay, something like that. So they're not like, well, this one's kinda on it. Maybe I can move it, get away with moving it over. Bringing it out some, that can fix it. We'll say yes. Now, the fun part is moving this one a little bit more this way. Now, we saw what happened with the middle one, how I lost a few pieces. The question is, do I risk having the same thing happen to this one, or just do I manually move it piece by piece? It'll take longer that way, but maybe I'll save myself a headache if it decides to explode everything. Because I had that happen with the cabinetry the other day. I lost like half of the build because it just kind of blew it up and spread it all over the place, and I had to go like on an Easter egg hunt. So I think I will just save myself a little pain, possibly, and move it individually. At least I'm going to do that with some of the main parts. I may risk moving certain things grouped. But what I need to do right now is figure out position. Because this one's kind of in the center, and that one's kind of not in the center, and this one is kind of not in the center. Works okay. Doesn't have to be centered. And I gotta decide, is that a good, does that about look the same either side? And I think it does. So I'm just gonna yoink all of the pieces over here, kind of eyeball it, and avoid the issues that we just had with the last one. That it could have been much worse than it ended up being, and I'd rather not see that become worse with. And this gives plenty of room for people to walk around. You know, I thought about getting fancy and adding other things in here, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to leave these like they are. Didn't want to crowd the restroom area, but this felt really empty. And part of it is to kind of hide for this sign here. There's actually some parts sticking out. It's a little difficult to see because of the dark shade of the wall anyway. But you know, if I point it out, there's actually a little part of it sticking out behind here, and then another few bits here. And I've just kind of camouflaged it slightly by adding in the pieces. But I don't want to get too crowded with whatever I add in here. I want it to look, I want it to be easily recognizable as a food court, but I don't want to get it too full of stuff. I mean, I could add, you know, flowers and other kind of little accents and stuff along the edges here, but I don't think that's really necessary. Like the lobby. I've been playing with the idea of possibly putting in an aquarium or some other kind of fountain or some such. And I've ended up just kind of going with the idea that you know, this is supposed to be like a Protostar run facility, you know, the Proto Putt Park. So I've included as many references to Protostar as I can get a hold of. I wish I had some of their billboards and stuff as decor, but for the time being, you know, like I have that on the tower, and I have him here, and of course this kind of looks sort of Protostarish, and all of the employees will be Protostar little dudes. But for the lobby area, I decided to go with kind of like a memorial statue thingy. And of course, we got those. Those are nice uses of the Gatorade things, but that's not possible everywhere because I'm just lucky that I've got a large structure that I can sink it into, and so you don't see the big machine. So yeah, I think that's gonna be okay for now on the eatery. I wanted to work a little bit on the souvenir shop area here. First, I need a proto dude. And the way I do it is I'll make one the size that I want to use as the little guys running around. And then every time I put a new one down, I make sure the size is the same. So like I check, see how big I made this. So he's at 1.9. So I make sure that any of them that are used as employees are all the same size, because then it gets a little weird if they're not. The issue is typically that's pretty short. And that means, like, if you notice the one at the cashier way over here, he's sitting on a box because he can't see over the countertop. And that's probably going to be the case with most of them, except for the guys out the front. So yeah, here's the little souvenir vendor. And then you just kind of position him in like you think it would go. Maybe he's closer to the register, but not like right at it. And then you kind of get him so he's high enough that you can see him, but then that means he's floating, so we'll have to add a little crate for him so that he's standing on it. You know, I would probably need that for my character. As it is, the countertop's pretty tall. Like little kitty Orin coming to get some umbrellas or something. So we'll just make some use of these brown crates. I used this in a Christmas event that I did for the guild. I put like a crap ton of crates all on my plot in a little square pattern. It just had like rows and rows of crates. And I put decor items underneath them to represent things. Like if it had a bottle in it, that would be a die. Or if it had a plushie in it, that meant that, you know, it was a plushie. And what it was I let them pick which crate they wanted to have. And that meant that was the present that they got. I think it was an interesting little event. Okay, so I think I got the size right. And here, move that closer, I guess. He's not like a mile away from. And then, of course, he needs to have things acting as the souvenirs, so we'll probably go to the plushies. Now, I want to put specifically plushies of ones that are used on the golf course itself. So I know there's a carrot out there. We're going to have at least a couple of carrot plushies for sale. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the sitting up straight here. Shrink them down a bit. Huge. Just want like little baby plushies. Everybody likes the plushies. And then I know there's some skeets out there on the. So we got a couple of green ones that we can use for here. And I could go through the trouble of, you know, turning them this way and that, but for like a grocery store stock or whatever, those tend to be pretty straight and in a row. And so I'm going to keep it pretty uniform. Let's see, what other ones we got? I think there's some lop out there. I don't think it's the yellow ones, but that's what we're going to use since that's what I have on hand. Maybe just one of those. Give a little change up from the 2 by 2 by 2. And maybe he'll be a little bigger than make him stand out a little. And I know there's some WildStars. Let's see if I got an extra one of those. And I do. And instead of having him facing face forward, I'm going to turn him side. And we'll just leave him as he is. Kind of fill up the shelf there. Let's see, I think there's yeah, I think I've got a gar out there. It's not a plushie gar, but it's a hazard that has one. So we'll put one of those out here. Let's just put the gars. the wrong button. And rather than face him that way, we'll just turn it slightly, not completely straight, either way, just turn a bit. And we'll copy him and see if we can get that, get that to work for the other one as well. Like so. And let's see, what else do we have out here? Got the mop. And the skeet. We could add a little proto plushie, maybe. Got lots of plushies, so go nuts with it, but you don't want to put all of them out there. Just because you have all of them doesn't have the Wolverine, WildStar. What's a fun one? The free pop. We'll just put the Macari out there. Confuse people. Why is the Macari there? Okay, so now we got the little souvenirs. We got balloons, we got plushies. I could, put in like some cardboard boxes of things that maybe he hasn't unpacked yet. Not the open ones, but just a couple of boxes of things that, oops, some mystery goodies. Just to help fill in a little bit of space so it's not completely empty in the back here. And again, you kind of tweak them a little bit so that they're not exactly the same. So it looks like, someone just kind of dumped their boxes together and yeah. Something, a little extra stuff. And then, leave the countertop clear. It doesn't have to have anything on it. It's just an indication of what this is. People will see it and go, hey, that's the souvenir shop. Now I could see if there's like maybe some kind of a sign or wall hanging that I could use to somehow supposedly indicate that that's the shop sign. Excel sign might work. We'll see if there's anything else different in the I can't tell what that's actually showing. I think it's a book and flames or something. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe we'll just go with the Excel sign since I have that on hand. And see if I can finagle it in a way that makes it look okay. I often wonder when people are watching me do this if they're thinking, God, I don't know how she puts anything together because this is just a mess of junk, but this is how I work it. Let's turn that little weird thing again. It kind of rotates on its own. I don't know why it does that. Another one of those quirky things. Trying to get it kind of where I want it, and then I'll adjust. Looks like the item might just be kind of wonky anyway. That look about right. Kind of okay. Maybe a little deeper in. Oh, then the blue goes bye-bye. I don't really want that to happen because that's part of the reason why I want it there, is because eye-catching. I don't know. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Like I said, I would love to have more access to WildStar images and things, other than just the plushies and a few poster things that we've got. That would be so nice. It doesn't work. Okay. Like, I've had to kind of just put this together. Not as bright as the sign itself is lit up, but I'm pretending that it says, you know, like, start here, welcome to the thing, or whatever. Okay, so got that sorted. Pretty happy with it. At least now it has an additional purpose than just to hide the hatch house. I mean, that was especially why I created this little structure, but I didn't want it to be the only. Okay, so I'm going to finish putting this together. Need to put his buddy over here. His proto pal. Ah, that reminds me. I wanted to put a pane of glass in the other one. Before I forget. Yeah, because we don't want, you know, customers just going through the little area here and getting all of his plushies. So let's install some glass. Hook that in. And we're not going to cover the whole thing because, of course, he still has to be able to interact with his customers. But we want it to be a good amount of it. Maybe like right here. Like so. So he can still, you know, take money and give out plushie prizes, but then not everybody can just crawl through. Maybe I could if I really tried, but kind of keep the plushie frenzy from going all out. Okay, back to here. So now we have these medium metal edge things. So I need 2 of those. Oh wait, I think I need 3. Yeah, 3 of them. I had to have a stepping stool for the proto guy. We'll drop 3 out here. And then sneak in here and select it. Otherwise I'd have to move the glass just to work right. And of course he went way over there, so I have to kind of fake it in anyway. Yeah, again, this housing stuff is not for everybody. Sometimes it can be long and drawn out because you're really going for details, and a lot of that takes time and a lot of patience to fit in, especially if you're going for a specific look or such. The first attempt may not work like you think, so see. One is width. And that one. Okay. So I need to double check. $39, $54, $130. Okay, so that's the one part. Kind of had him in the right spot. Oh, probably because I copy pasted. That would be handy dandy. Let's see if this one works. Nope. So bring it back. See, we're a pretty good distance from the hatch house, but it still behaves crankily. I'm gonna, oops. So we're looking for first two, $39.98 and $180. $39.98. And then the rest I'll just kind of eyeball. Let's just mostly get centered so that the metal isn't going on the edges. Something like that. Now he's got his little countertop. And since we don't want it to be exactly like the other one, maybe he's got a little bucket of balls instead of like the other guy just has the one. This one has a bucket. Because he's just uber and has way more. Now what I used for that was the, I think it was the sporty sphere. And that's just straight from the vendor, so. Again, most of the time when I do these builds, I try to always go with things that I either already have or I can easily buy through the vendor. or that I can make. But not everybody has access to all of the architect versions of stuff, if they're not an architect themselves or knows anybody that's into architecture. And then it's just a matter of trying to fill the bucket without literally filling it from top to bottom. You just want to throw in a few at the top to make it look like it's got a few. So I might need about 5 altogether. So for some, that might be too costly as far as renown goes, but with a lot of the activities that you have available to you, especially at cap level, that becomes less of an issue. For beginner builders, it could remain an issue for a while until you work up a bit of a stockpile. But like I was telling a guest the other day, it's a housing is not an overnight kind of thing. You don't just do it and then you don't get in it and then suddenly it's all in place. It's a long-term kind of deal. It's a hobby. For some, they're happy with building one structure and then just leaving it like that forever. For someone like me, though, I get not necessarily bored, but I am eager to try new things, see just if I can build it and have it look decent. And so I'll go a few months with the same build, especially if it takes me a good amount of time to put it together. But I eventually end up changing it out. Some of them alleviate that issue with changing it out completely by going on alts, but you're only limited to so many alts anyway. So eventually, if you've got that itch to try something new, then you're gonna have to demolish whatever you might have had before, or really look into completely redoing it. But for me, it's kind of like every few months I change it up. Because yeah, it's nifty looking, and I'll probably miss it in some ways, but there's always new things to attempt down the road that I wouldn't want to miss out on the opportunity. And since I'm not an altaholic, I have a few alts, but I primarily just use them for storage space, and 2, the other one, I use their plot mostly for another guild challenge that I put together. I build the things for that on her plot, but beyond that, I don't like sticking with the same thing. You know, just because I did one snow scene before with like the toy shop doesn't mean I won't revisit that again someday, especially if they really go all out in adding a lot of snow type decor. I may revisit it and see if I can improve on the idea that I had before. But for me, it's a lot of it is mostly I want to try new things, and especially things that I haven't seen other people try to put together. You know, I had considered putting together a circus, but in the few months that I've been researching and mulling over ideas, I've seen a few. And I think, well, I don't want to do one now because it's already been done, and basically it'll seem like I'm just copying their idea. And even though I'll make it my own, it still kind of feels that way. It's like when I built my tower, I hadn't seen anybody build one. No pictures, no videos. I hadn't even seen a random house done that way. It wasn't until after, I think it was a few weeks after I posted mine, that I came across a few others. And I don't know if that's because they had seen mine and it gave them ideas of their own, or if I just happened to stumble across them after the fact. But at least in my head, I know it was my own idea that come up with the tower, and it's not like it's like I could do a cave, but there's been so many cave structures, I just don't want to. I've seen other fantastic versions of that, like the one I toured the other day, and I just don't feel I can add any more to something like that to make it. Same way with like stations, space stations and stuff. There's been so many great ones that I don't think I could do it justice. So I stick with stuff that I haven't seen put together before, and hope that I do a good job of it, and or that it at least inspires others to try something along those lines, to give it a go. But yeah, the carnival slash circus styles uh, seem like a good prospect. That was one of the ideas I've been tossing around for a while. I've written down things like what kind of rides I might want to put in, what kind of food booths and things like that, but it just never came to be, because by the time I kind of got prepared to go ahead and put something together, I said, okay, it's time to get rid of this other one. Like I said, I'd already seen several, and I was like, well, I don't want to do that now. Copy paste just does not want to give me a break today. Okay, so 39.79. And is that right? Business. Seems opposite. I don't think it positioned her like it was. That's okay. We got it. Got it where it needs to be. Let me shut that off. Okay. So now I had to think, okay, well, that doesn't work because it's going right into the ball. So maybe I have to raise these glasses up a little bit. Just enough for 290. And that means I'll have to do the same here. Just to make them uniform looking. So they still got a little bit of a guard against visitors, but now his little bucket of balls will be better. And let's see, maybe we'll put a crate of some kind in there with him. What kind of containers we got? Don't want to use another cardboard box to have those plentiful. Some kind of a crate, or maybe the chest. Maybe a couple of these. Just one since that's all I got left, but no, I could get another one, but I'm being a little lazy right now because I'm starting to get tired again. Because while I love housing, it does kind of drain on you, especially if you're having to tweak it because the copy paste doesn't work like you want it. It can get a little tiring. Okay, is that floating or is that just? Yeah, he's got some stuff. Maybe that's where he keeps his golf clubs, and that one already got some out. I could get detailed and add more golf clubs around, but I kind of didn't want to make a bunch because, for one, it takes 3 pieces to make them, like I do, and I already have them in several places as it is, and I don't want to. I've had to build 4 so far. They're kind of annoying to put together. I wish I had been able to come up with something else than what I did, but for the time being, that's all I felt comfortable in. It looked like a golf club to me. I think to other people it might look like something else, but hopefully they get the idea of what it's supposed to be. Okay, so we got the food place set up. And maybe I need another spoon for this soupy mess or whatever that is. The sauce. Maybe I won't have the spoon in it. I'll just put it to the side. Just to the side there. I know it's going to be used for it, but I don't have to dip it in all the time. And then so maybe it's just the one proto guy working the whole thing. He's the one that. Now he's got to have a buddy. We got to put a buddy here. So that means we need another crate and a proto dude. I'm probably going to be wrapping it up here shortly. I don't know how long I've been on, but it feels like quite a while. I don't know how informative these videos are for folks, or if it's just an amusement to see what kind of troubles I go through to put these together. I don't know, but hopefully somebody finds it helpful. Slightly entertaining, amusing, or maybe I'm just good for helping you to go to sleep. Spend a few minutes listening to me talk and you just kind of nod off. If I can come up with a way to, I've tried making hats for these guys. I've done ski caps and tried a chef's hat once and a couple other things, and I never could get them to look quite like I wanted. So if I can come up with something, I might get this guy a hat, but in the meantime, I think he's okay like that. I don't know, maybe would one of these work like an apron? I don't even know how I would do it. Get it to look like an apron. It may look more like a tabard or something sitting on it. Or a weird bib. tiny. Yeah, it looks like a bib. Oh, for crying out loud, I can't turn the camera like I want. And he's got a fat little belly, so that doesn't help. That looks weird. Oh yeah, that doesn't work, I'm thinking. So let's just move that over here. Maybe that's like the little oven mitt or something. I'm not gonna put an oven in. I might make this look like the oven for the pizza. Let's see, how would I do that? Cleaner. Maybe weird gadgetry thingy. Even though I said I'm getting tired and I'm probably thinking about logging off, I keep fiddling with little pieces. I think, well, I could add something here. Maybe this, you know, I thought I was done with this area, but I keep thinking about, well, that could, you know, do something a little different. And maybe if I put this here and add that, and this keeps going. So, what do I use? Piece of glass, maybe? Just a weird piece of glass sitting there over top, give it the illusion that it's like an oven of some sort. Maybe. I don't know. As small as I can make it too, so that may not work anyway. Looks like it's going to be a little too big for this little oven door. Yeah, so I'm going to have to come up with something else. Look at the containers again. Containers. Something good and square, not funky and maybe that one. Maybe the bottom of that one. Try the bottom of this one first. I don't know. It's hard to tell when looking at some things because you can't see what it looks like from all angles. You have to actually see down the water. Give it a try. No. Gotta do what you want. So does that look like an oven kind of door maybe thing? And you got the controls down below. We can pretend that's an oven, can't we? I think we can. Very strange oven. AC oven. quit warping. The thing just, I want to stop warping. Yeah, so we'll pretend that's like the pizza oven or something, some kind of oven that our cook utilizes, our proto cook. We'll just put that one back. So yeah, I think it's coming together slowly but surely. Got some good bits. It's a continual process. I mean, I'm pretty much happy with how the park itself looks. I still have a lot of little bits that I'm wanting to add. I still have to add these things here to the rest of the holes. I've done a few, and then I got sidetracked with something else. So I haven't finished that yet, but that'll probably be something I do off the air, because it's more boring than what I've been doing. But I think we're looking good as far as item count wise. We're now at just over 600, at least 400 more essentially left that I could, add posters or more plants in the lobby. I could install some lighting here. I could go ahead and finish. I could add another, like some glass panels for the roof, and then add some lighting there. I'm going to have to kind of see how I am doing on the lighting itself. Where are we at? Well, we're 7 to 40, so we're doing okay on that. That means I should be able to install some lighting in strategic places around here, probably at each of the little, I don't know what you call these, hole markers or something. I'm thinking of going with the WildStar ones, if you haven't seen those yet. The worksite lamps. They're a little on the pricey side, but I think they'll work. I really don't know how much light, if any, they give off. That'll be something I'll look into, but at least visually, I like the look of them, and I know they're associated with the WildStar dudes, so that'll be something to consider. So I'll probably be putting, probably one for each hole, so that'd be another 9. I'm still looking into some spotlights for the sign at the front. I played around with some in the beginning when I first started this build, and I couldn't quite get them positioned. I tried some at the roof level, like pointing from each side. I also tried a couple from the bottom, pointing up towards it. None of it seemed to work like I wanted, so I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to do to bring some attention to that. But right now it's really visible and it looks okay. But when the sky turns dark, he really goes hidden. He's not very noticeable there. So I'm still going to have to look into lighting that. But it looks like the way things are going, that I'm going to have enough decor to play around with some items out here in the front. What I'm considering is doing some kind of a parking lot scene, maybe having a vehicle as well. Whether, I don't know what kind of vehicle, it might just be like a little truck or something, or a little, like maybe a golf cart would be an appropriate thing. I'm looking to maybe building something around this to give it a little bit more purpose. Maybe it's the parking meter and the little ghosty thing is the meter maid. I don't know. I thought about installing a little children's playground on one side, but probably won't do that. But for sure, I'm really considering the parking lot, for sure, probably along this edge here. So we'll see. I'm going to finish up a lot of the details that I've already mentioned that I'm still missing, like the lights and the little tee-off sections for the holes. But other than that, I think we're getting pretty close on being done on the top. Close, not there completely, but we're getting there. And that means, of course, that we'll be able to start doing some work downstairs. I have a few ideas for that, but it's still kind of in the process of percolating, so don't know how that's going to go. It's kind of going out of my comfort zone as far as what type of things I usually build, so we'll see where that goes. In the meantime, I hope everyone has been enjoying the show. If you do happen across any of these videos and you do want to keep up with as often as I broadcast, remember my scheduled days are Wednesdays, but I also tend to stream every other weekday as well. I just don't schedule those because they're kind of a hit and miss depending on what I'm doing through the day. Sometimes I broadcast in the morning, sometimes it's more in the afternoon. So if you want to be sure and not miss any of them, follow my channel. It'll alert you when I'm on. But if you just enjoy watching the videos without following, that's fine too. I appreciate any of the viewings. Also spread the word. I don't think there's many of us builders out there that are actively streaming while we build. I know there's a lot of builders that like to stream tours of their homes that they've worked on, but I don't think too many of them let you watch the process. And I think that's helpful for some to see what all goes into it. Also for Wednesdays, that's usually when I do the tours of other people's homes. They're always public, and they're of course are on Jabbit EU. So if you don't have the opportunity to go visit those places yourself, either because of time or you're just not eligible to go onto that realm, be sure and check in on the Wednesday broadcasts, because I will be touring those regularly. Typically it's been about 3 per broadcast. I sneak in about 3 visits, and it just depends on, I usually take a quick view of them beforehand to make sure that they're still available, and then but if you have requests for specific homes that you would like to see, feel free to let me know. In the meantime, happy building, and I'll see you next time.